Here are my 3 top tips that I wish I knew when I first started a keto diet. So most people get a little bit concerned with the amount of fat they seem to need to eat when they start on the keto diet. Now, it's true that in the beginning, you do need to be consuming a lot because your carbohydrate intake is so low. If weight loss is your primary goal, then you really need to be keeping your carbs underneath 20 grams per day. And those type of carbs really need to come from vegetables, so fibrous carbs. Ideally, you don't want to be taking in any starchy carbs at all if weight loss is your goal. Now, the problem is that in the beginning, your body is so used to burning glucose that comes from starchy carbohydrates that people can experience some negative side effects when they first start, namely the keto flu. Now, you need to get energy. So if you're not getting it from carbs, you need to be getting it from your dietary fat intake. This is why things like MCT oil are recommended to really boost that. Now, you do have to pay attention to the amount of calories because you've got to remember that 1 gram of protein equals 4 calories. 1 gram of carbohydrate equals 4 calories. However, 1 gram of fat equals 9 calories. So when your fat intake needs to be so high, a lot of people start having a panic that they're not getting enough fat. In the beginning, you will need it because you need that energy source. However, as your body slowly adapts to using fat as the primary fuel, which can take about 4 to 6 weeks to get fully fat adapted, which means that your liver is going to be converting about, up to 700 calories worth of ketones per day from your fat stores. Now, once that's happening, obviously, then you don't need to be getting those extra 700 calories worth per day from your dietary fat. So if you've been hitting a plateau and you've been following the keto diet, it may be that you're consuming too much fat. So just remember, in the beginning, it's going to be high. But over the 4 to 6 weeks that you're following it, you're going to slowly reduce your dietary fat intake because your body is going to be taking it from your fat stores, which is what we want, which is the whole goal, right? We want to be using our fat stores so that we lose the fat. So that is tip number 1. Tip number 2, going back to the negative side effects that some people can experience when they're switching to the keto plan can be easily solved with electrolytes. You see, a lot of people can feel a little bit lethargic. They can start to get headaches. It may be that you're not getting enough water, or it can be the opposite. You could be consuming too much water. If you're overdoing it, you could be flushing all the essential minerals from the body. So what I tend to do is every day, because I combine fasting with the keto, when I drink water, I make sure that I have a mixture of sodium and potassium in it. Now, there are other electrolytes that, our body could do with. So you can get an electrolyte powder, which will have calcium and magnesium in it. What I tend to do in a big bottle of water is I put in 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda. I put 1 teaspoon of potassium, and I get that from no salt. And then I add 1/4 teaspoon of pink Himalayan sea salt because there will be other trace minerals in. Now, still I need magnesium, but I prefer to absorb magnesium through the skin. Now, not everybody likes to have hot baths, but if you do, the best way of getting magnesium into your body will be putting magnesium flakes or Epsom salts into a really, really hot bath so that your pores are open and that you absorb it straight into the bloodstream. This can actually help also with cravings of chocolate. Quite often that can be down to magnesium deficiency. So by having that mixture of electrolytes, you're going to have more energy. You're not going to suffer with the headaches. So that is tip number 2. Tip number 3. My advice is to avoid the so-called keto products. Now, the thing is, when people start on the keto diet, they feel like they're going to miss their pastas and rice, and they want to substitute it. They're going to miss their bread and they need to substitute it. Now, whenever anything like this comes out, it's a money spinner for a lot of companies. So they're trying to come up with all these different keto wraps and keto bread. And the main thing is about eating whole foods and eating healthily. This stuff, just because they say it's keto, it's still processed foods. Plus, it's going to prolong the agony, because at the end of the day, the reason that you're struggling to give up the bread and the pasta is that you're addicted to sugar. Starch breaks down to sugar. So really, that's like giving an alcoholic a different kind of alcoholic drink, or even a non-alcoholic drink. You're trying to tempt them. You're prolonging the agony, whereas it would be better to kick it. Isn't it better to kick the habit? You will feel so much better. And by drinking the electrolyte solution in water is going to help you kick those sugar habits a lot quicker. So my advice is save your money. Eat whole foods where possible, organic, grass-fed where possible. Spend your money on the high quality, nutrient dense foods rather than going for these keto products that are not going to help you in the long run. By having these fake sweeteners, it is still going to give an insulin spike. So it's still going to work against you. Far better for you to actually kick the habit and go cold turkey. It won't take you long to actually get rid of those cravings. But by eating these kinds of products, looking for these alternatives, is just going to prolong the agony. So that is my third tip.